And welcome back to the Penthouse stream here at the North American Hub coverage of the TI4 qualifiers. I'm your host here in AC Chambers, joined, of course, by Fear. Once again, it's going to be our last match of the day, last match of the night, depending on what time zone you're in.
It's a long day, but our last match regardless.
Yep, we got another long day tomorrow, but it should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. You and I will actually be doing, well, actually, I'll be doing a couple of good matches. You and I kind of taking a break. We're having a separation a little bit.
We are.
I think, like, do you cast tomorrow? I can't remember.
I don't think I'm actually on the list, but Fogged was supposed to be here tomorrow, so I might have to fill in for him.
Right.
So.
Well, we'll keep you guys up to date with that. For now, we've got one match on the docket. It's going to be Orange taking on Mineski. We had some problems getting all the players in. They actually couldn't find the lobby, and then we couldn't find servers. So the server issues, a little shaky today, but we are managing to get in for the most part all of the games we want to have played. And we're going to jump right on into the draft now and take a look at what we have to see. And you know, we're really treated in our first game of this qualifier, and I actually had a tweet. It's one of the most retweeted tweets I've had in a long time. So
really?
20 people retweeted I sent out a tweet that said, first ban Jakiro, we play in Southeast Asia Dota now, boys and girls. And this is kind of the same thing. This looks a little bit more familiar, though, as we see the Bat Rider Invoker banned out, Nyx and Puck, whatever. Ember Spirit, Lycan banned out in the first phase. Again, much more familiar. Spectre and OD, but I'll go ahead and let you break down what we see so far. Obviously, some team fight there with Sand King, Centaur, good control with the Shadow Shaman, Naga, and Ancient Apparition picked up from Mineski.
So this is twice in a row. It seems like Sand King's going to be a very popular hero here in Southeast Asia, and it also appears they're still on the Naga train.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of teams in EU and North America, they still run Naga, but I don't think it's been first pick worthy for the most part.
Right.
And it seems like they do want to run this as a more of a farming cell and not as a support. And as far as like the Centaur goes, that's another hero that when we casted the Americas qualifier, we didn't see much Centaur at all. That hero just kind of fell off. It got a nerf, but it wasn't a really significant nerf at all.
Right.
It was just a minor change to his hoof stomp. A little more mana now. Does suck for him, but it's still a really great hero. And I'm glad to see Centaur. I think it was a really strong offlaner. Had a lot of potential to just set up a lot of spells, especially with Invoker, which I think we're going to see a lot coming out of Southeast Asia. Invoker got first banned this game, and last game when team got Invoker, it just went out of control. So I think that's going to be a really high priority pick here in Southeast Asia, and we're going to be grabbing a Wraith King. What's going to be really interesting for me is to see how Wraith King is played in Southeast Asia. If it's going to be played as a core, as a support. I personally am a big fan of Wraith King support, so I hope to see that. And we're going to have a Slark pickup. This is a hero I have not seen in a very long time in competitive Dota.
I got to admit, it was kind of out on me, or I was kind of in the camp of Wraith King support, you know, doable, but But the play we've seen so far, I got to admit, I've been converted, man. I think it's legit when it's run with the right lineup, and that's the important thing. You don't just pick a Wraith King support and go, okay, there's our support now. You know, you have to draft around him a team that's going to really utilize what he brings to bear. Orange, though, I mean, everything about Orange's lineup just screams aggressive. Slark, Shadow Shaman, I love that here. In fact, while we got a minute, we wait for the rest of this to be drafted out. And I'm not just wasting time, by the way, folks. Like, to be honest, we don't know these teams that well, so we can't, like, metagame. Like, well, you know, this player tends to play this. Maybe this would be a good fit. We're just kind of on the, we're in the same position you are. We're waiting to see what we see, and we can talk about synergies, and we'll certainly do that during the game. But Shadow Shaman as a hero, I really love him. I feel like he's such a strong support. He fits into push lineups, also fits into anti-push lineups. You can team fight like hell with him. He has great lockdown for invasive heroes like a Mirana. By the way, Mirana making it into the pool again.
Yep.
So, yeah, just briefly while we wait for this draft to wind itself down. Thoughts on Shadow Shaman?
Shadow Shaman is a very strong support hero. I'm a big fan of it. Lately, I haven't seen him been winning too much. Liquid was running it a lot, not with too much success, I gotta say.
Right.
But it is a hero that his level 1 nuke is one of the highest in the game, so it's good at zoning. And on top of that, he does have double lockdown, so he is a strong laner. When he gets his level 6, he can start taking down towers. So Shadow Shaman for me is really good with teams that have like this methodical playstyle towards it. Like Liquid does not have that type of playstyle, and that's probably why I feel like they kind of struggled with it. But teams that like to play more together and go take early objectives and get those tier 1 towers, I do love Shadow Shaman as a hero. And one thing to talk about the Slark real quick, since we haven't seen Slark in a very long time. I mean, he used to be in like every single one of my pub games, but he kind of just fell off the map.
Loda is one of the few that continues to run him fairly frequently.
Indeed he is, but it's pretty good here for the most part, especially against the Wraith King. He's not going to be able to land us down on. You have the Pounce, which disjoints it completely, and if he does manage to get on, he always has the Dark Pack. So it's going to be a very good hero against Wraith King, and one minor thing he can do And it's not always a factor, but his stat change, it does burn mana from the Wraith King. So in some situations, it can be relevant enough where you can burn his mana in the early stages of the game so he cannot get that ultimate off. And we're going to have a Queen of Pain pickup. And I'd like to see Queen of Pain go book this game. And once again, in Southeast Asia, I think we're going to see more co-op. For me, it just stands out like Mushi and stuff like that. These are a lot of players from Southeast Asia originally that played a lot of Queen of Pain. It just, for me, Queen of Pain, whenever I see that hero, it just screams like this is like a Southeast Asian type of pick.
Southeast Asia, South America, because we see Smash play them all the time. Just that kind of play style, that in-your-face playmaking, high-flying kind of a play style that, for the most part, has, I mean, it has kind of gone by the wayside. That mid position in particular in the West. Now much more of a farming position, much more of a dual lane kind of a position. As opposed to that, yeah, let's just go give our most mechanically gifted player some hero that's a crazy high skill cap and watch him go ham. But anyway, Orange with their full 5 out. I really like Orange's lineup, to be honest. I like Mineski's to a point. But, you know, I wish we had the hexagons up that we see for, like, the main casting studio. Because I feel like they have everything. Okay, you've got good physical damage coming out of Slark. You've got an immense amount of magic damage that you're going to be able to actually bring to bear very, very often. Queen of Pain, that's her whole game. Shadow Shaman, if they decide to max Ether Shock, can actually just melt people, depending on how he's going to prioritize that over the lockdown of the Hex and the Shackle. Centaur, of course, great initiation on top of the Sand King with a ton of great lockdown. With the well-placed Burrow Strike as well as the Epicenter. I feel like it's very well-rounded. Now, Mineski, we've been talking mostly about Orange, and for good reason. They're the team that most of us know to a point. We know Isira's very good coming out of the mid position. We, of course, know Winter and a few others. Mineski's kind of a big question mark for most of us. Looks like they've put together a fair amount of team fight as well. With the Ancient Apparition, of course, the Darkseer looks like, let's see, yeah, that should be a mid, one would imagine. Naga Siren with the Darkseer out in the off lane.
What I would really love to see from Mineski right now is take this lane they have with the AA, Wraith King, and Mirana and go aggressive with it. Because I don't think the Sand King, Shadow Shaman, Slark lane is particularly strong. I feel like they're all low-ranged heroes, and they're all fairly squishy in the early phases. And I think they can totally wreck that lane with those 3 heroes in particular. That's a super strong lane. And they could also put the Darkseer up against the Centaur. And that's a matchup Darkseer will have a really good time against with that Ion Chill against the melee hero.
Well, we're loading into the game, looks like. Some 1P. Love that. But no, I totally agree with you. And, you know, one thing that we see a lot of teams, even to a fault, and you made this point before, almost over-focusing on the idea that a Sand King at level 3 can get his blink so quickly. You know, if you run aggressive into him, not only does it slow down his levels because he has to spend more time in lane, you can't really pull anyone out, but even if he does get into a position where he could go jungle, if you're still running that aggressive pressure into a hero like Slark, he can't do anything by himself. He has to have both of his supports there to have any chance of staying alive, especially when you have the dive potential that Mineski's going to have with the Wraith King. I mean, and it's easy to see how it's going to work. You throw out a Hellfire Blast to lead, then the arrow right afterwards, and of course Cold Feet, and you're guaranteed a Cold Feet proc if you chain it correctly. So they can initiate basically anytime, any way they care to because of the strength of Hellfire Blast, and they're going to need everyone in that lane.
And for me, Slark it's like a bit of a misconception. People think Slark is a strong laner, but he's one of the weakest early like tri-lane heroes. He has 1 base armor and 500 HP. So he is very easy to kill. Of course, you can run away, but if you play pressure to him, he can't really go on you if you focus him down, and he can't really farm either. So maybe you might not be able to kill him, but he won't be able to get much in the lane. And it looks like Mineski's doing the right thing, and they're already getting aggressive.
Moving up as 5 now, rounding the bend right at the break of the river.
There's a beautiful ward place, though, already.
Spotting out this whole movement. They know it's coming. If they decide to press through, who you think has the stronger level 1 team fight here?
I think Mineski for sure. They have the chilling touch advantage, and if they pop that on 5 heroes, and on top of that, Wraith King has a reliable stun on top of the arrow, good lockdown. I think Orange just has to stay back and just let them do whatever they want to their jungle. They did have vision of it, so if there was any wards dropped, it doesn't look like there was one place way down there, but I don't think they had vision of it. So if they were paying attention to their inventory, maybe they'll be able to get a D ward there. But more than anything, that ward just spotted out them so they wouldn't get killed. It didn't get too much valuable intel.
Well, looks like, actually, I'm going to wait for the rune to spawn, and it will be at bottom. That's going to be picked up by the Centaur. Looks like it was a regen. The lanes are going to take shape. Let's take a look at who's handling who and where they're going to be playing. On the side of Mineski, they're going to have Jay playing in. See, I'm telling you, dude, I can't read this blue text on the grass. It kills me. Jay on the Naga Siren in mid. It's going to be the Wraith King. They will be going aggressive, so good call by you, as it tends to be. It's going to be Oi, it looks like, playing on the Wraith King, and he's going to be joined by G on the Ancient Apparition, as well as Stop Running in Circles, Axes, AX, whatever. That's our Mirana player. Darkseer, of course, out in the solo safe lane. He's going to be played by Jesse Vosh. On the other side of the river, it's going to be Winter, one of the more well-known players in all of the Southeast Asia region. He'll be playing on the Centaur out here in the off lane.
Well, it looks like they're going for a kill on bottom lane first.
At bottom, there's a Burrow Strike. Catching out Jesse Vosh. Shackles are there to follow it up. And Stomp as well. Beautiful chaining of the stuns, and they will be able to bring him down. First blood drawn by Sharky, and Orange off to a good start.
Indeed. It was very smart from Orange. They saw the aggressive tri-lane with that ward, and they're like, okay, we cannot deal with this. So they rotated out, and they went to the Centaur's lane instead. So Slark's going to have a hard time in this lane, but he just needs to sit here, get as much experience as he possibly can, and hopefully with a start like they just had on the off lane, Centaur will get a good start, get that early Blink Dagger, and then make space for Slark later on in the game.
Very nice rotation, as you said. We'll finish up the lineups. It'll be SXOCXS playing on our Slark. It'll be Isira, who we were briefed by Roland is really a player to watch in this on that quap. Sand King going to be played by Insidious C, and the Shadow Shaman to round out Orange's squad, played by Sharky, who drew first blood.
And what's really weird for me, and I think this is just like, I can't argue this may be a good play for the Queen of Pain, but she went 2 points in Shadow Strike against the Nugget. I think that's a major mistake. Seeing that Jay did actually just take a Shadow Strike to the face, but you can dispel that with Mirror Image.
Right.
So if he pops that on you, not only can you disjoint it in midair and not hit it all, but if you have Shadow Strike on you and you use your Mirror Image, I believe it'll just completely remove it. So that could be a waste of points for him, which could hurt him in this laning phase, especially not having that Scream to deal with the images.
And I'm just looking at the mana cost. It is a flat mana cost. I couldn't remember if it was or it wasn't. So I was going to say if the mana cost increase, that actually just makes it even less effective in terms of trading mana even. In mid, though, looks like they want to put some pressure on. There's a Shadow Strike. Here comes the Burrow Strike from Sand King that's going to prompt an immediate reaction. And no way to really get back on top of them. It looks like Ola wants to try and find a Hellfire Blast, but Insidious C going to make it to the high ground. All he's going to do is find his own level 2 as he passes on through the lane on his way back up to top. This has freed up the Slark for a little bit more room. He's doing quite well in terms of staying alive and getting XP. He's almost level 4.
And he's getting decent CS too, a lot better than I would have expected.
At this poor Darkseer. He has been
on
hemmed
top
up
not playing. So he forced the leap out of him. But yeah, the Darkseer is going to get completely zoned out. Unless he sees a Sand King, he's not going to do too much in this lane. He's just going to get harassed out by that Ether Shock by Sharky.
In the meantime, Winter quite happy about it all. He's already level 4 and farming really well. He's sitting in the top 3 of overall CS, 11 CS at 3 minutes in. Mirana, though, is really the big beneficiary here. Mineski getting her off to a great start, 16 CS at 3 minutes.
And yeah, this Darkseer's just been completely zoned out. Yeah, I think you just run to the lane here, but the way the Winter is actually controlling the lane is going to make it very hard for this Darkseer to get experience anyways, but I don't think he should be getting bullied this hard. He can even just run into the Shadow Shaman at this point and just Ion Shell harass him. But right now, he's doing nothing right now, which is going to be a major problem if this continues. And they realize that on Mineski, so they're sending down the smoke crew.
Wraith King, almost called him Skelly King. Wraith King, joined by Ancient Apparition, now rotating down, as you said. Problem is, like you said, Winter's done such a great job of maintaining creep equilibrium here that they're not pushing out a ton. And every time it looks like they might, I mean, this is pretty damn even. And here comes the next wave just outside of tower range. So if they want to try and make something happen, they're going to have to do it right in the shadow of that tier 1. In the meantime, the rest of the lanes are being left totally free. So Slark's going to be one-on-one with the Mirana. And granted, the Mirana had a great start. But this is what he needs, just a chance to get some CS. He's coming up on level 5 now, and he actually has started to tally a couple. He's up to 8.
So yeah, Orange right now getting the better of this early game.
Sand King now rotating around. Not happy that he wasn't able to bring down the Naga Siren before. And yeah, look at this is a total waste of time, basically. I mean, they're counter warding, and that's always nice, but they're getting nothing done here other than leeching experience from Va, and this is making room for Slark. I feel like this is a big win for Orange.
It definitely is. They're getting so much out of this, and their supports are doing absolutely nothing. It looks like we're going to have another smoke gang coming out from the Sand King and the Shadow Shaman. If they can pick one out with those heroes, it's going to be almost an instant kill on any hero they find.
Just level 2 on the Shadow Shaman. He's very near level 3. Only has shackles or disable at the moment, but that's all they're going to need. If they spot out poor G here, he's dead skis. He's going to be run into. There's going to be the burrow strike. Shackles are there to follow it up. Look at this. They don't even need Winter. He comes in with a double edge, but he could have just auto-attacked him and brought him down as quickly. That's 2-0, and Mineski just being flat out outplayed and outmaneuvered at this stage.
Yeah, Mineski looks a little confused, I gotta say.
Yeah,
like,
they really do.
I haven't seen a team look this confused in a while.
I don't think they anticipated just how effective the lane switch was going to be. You know, because they've been very sluggish in even responding to make something of it.
Yeah, I mean, they should have known once they didn't see the support stop, they were going to dodge, but they weren't able to read that. And unfortunately, that one mistake allowed Darkseer to get completely out of this game. He completely zoned just from dying. Shadow Shaman just bullied him out, as you saw. And because of that, he's only level 3 right now, while Centaur is level 6, and he's well on his way to a Blink Dagger.
Do want to point out, by the way, that Asira is absolutely crushing this mid lane as well. Poor Jay is sitting at 18 CS to the near 30 now of Asira, and just being harassed out every time he shows his face. Here's going to be Olwa coming in to try and do something about it, but for the most part, this Wraith King, I mean, he's level 3, but he's done a lot of traveling and not a whole lot of much else. We've seen him move a lot, but so far as his impact, very minimal.
Yeah, and as far as this mid lane was, I thought Naga was going to do a lot better, but I don't think she realizes... Oh, they might just be going on this.
Yep, no, he's... Oh.
Song.
Yep. He's got help. Are they going to try to engage? This might be a
no.
Okay, they talked it over. They pinged it.
On top lane, are we going to find the Shackles here?
Oh, good lead.
Very close.
And we can see that...
On bottom, poor AA on the bottom lane.
Oh, God.
He has no boots.
Yep, he's got a couple of tangos, and that's a very dead Ancient Apparition.
Going back to this mid lane, though, like... I'm not sure this Naga realizes you can disjoint the Shadow Strike with mirror images. He's just been tanking it like crazy. You can, if you time it correctly midair, like I said, you can remove it. And I'm almost certain you can remove it as well, just by casting Q when you have the Shadow Strike on you. And he's taking a lot of harass damage from that. That's something. It's really hurting him that this mechanic is not, like, he doesn't know the mechanic, basically.
Mirana's now come down to mid, and they're just sitting, and I'm not sure what for. Like... Mirana, this is giving so much room to Slark. Slark has caught up. He's at 25 CS. He's almost as farmed as the Mirana is, despite being completely zoned out for the first 5 minutes of the game. And this is just, that arrow's going to be shot, and a little off the mark. And you have to feel for Mineski, because it just really does feel like they're being outplayed in pretty much every phase of the game. And it's been a while since I've seen a match that really had this feel to it. I mean, even the Americas qualifiers, we saw some sloppy play, and we saw some teams that were obviously not on par. But just nothing that Mineski's trying to do is going well.
Nothing at all. I mean, there's not too much I can analyze here other than the fact, like, they're just getting straight out outplayed, some sloppy rotations, and it's just kind of, like, sad to see right now that these rotations are making us doing nothing. They've got level 3 on both of their supports right now. 0 and 0 on that Wraith King 8 minutes into this game. Not one single... Like, he's got zeros all across the board.
Big fat goose egg. Basically, all he's done is leech XP and do nothing with it.
Yep, and where can he find kills? Like, at this point, Centaur is way too farmed to get a kill.
8.
Yeah, Quap in mid lane is not a target you can actually hit with, like, your stun without a stun already, and Naga's not a hero that's going to level up net usually in that middle lane position. She wants to get the illusions up and the Riptide and just spam it. And Slark, so in his defense, there are no heroes he can really stun and gank, which means good drafting from Orange to make sure all their lanes were very difficult to kill. But I think the rotation, they should have just stayed on this top lane and just had Darkseer try and tough it out, because they had a good thing going for them on that top lane.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Well, and like we were saying, I mean, it's the Slark was hurting so badly. The Slark is almost on par in terms of farm as Jay. Like, that's how badly Jay's been stomped here in mid. And the Quap now is going to be getting out of hand before long. She's already got up her Null Talisman and her Treads, as well as a full wand, couple of charges on it. But this feels like a very stagnant game, at least for the moment. But I don't know that's going to last very long. They're not going to take a chance on this Naga Siren getting super farmed. She's got her drums done, so that's a bright spot, I suppose.
Yeah, she's not doing too horrible in the farming department. So she's at least on track, but what's really going to hurt them is just how underfarmed their supports are, and the fact that Darkseer is really underleveled. He did get his level 5 and Buckler, so he's catching up admirably. And what do we have up on them, Ron? Just the phase boots, so they still have some basic farm on all their heroes, but this dagger is now up on Winter. In fact, he can just blink up and kill this AA instantly. Instantly kill him and still get out, because the other two heroes will not have enough damage to kill him.
Yep. Whoop, and the issue, like what I'm really worried about for Mineski right now is things are stabilized, so they're not losing a ton of ground. But I want you to just imagine how much AoE damage they're going to have. Like the Shadow Shaman, yeah, I was curious if he was going to put 3 points in the Ether Shock, and he did. He's got 1 in Hex, 1 in Shackles. Okay, let's just do some math here, or some imaginary math, as in we're not actually going to do numbers. We're going to rate it in the scale of not so bad to holy crap, that's a lot of damage. Ether Shock, Queen of Pain, Sonic Wave with Scream of Pain, Double Edge with Hoof Stomp.
Yeah, I'm not doing that actual math, but let's go with the holy crap. That's a lot of damage.
Exactly. And that's on top of Slark with Dark Pack, too. So, like, in a small AoE, say a 300 range AoE, the amount of damage they're going to be able to output is immense.
Indeed it is. Still level 3 on their supports. Well, actually, level 4 up on the Wraith King. They're going to go for a little push on this bottom lane. But Winter is here with his Blink Dagger. If they have 1 TP, I think they can go ahead and just take this fight. Sand King has a Blink, too. I think there's going to be trouble in Paradise in bottom lane.
Looks like they're going to give it a shot. Sand King, Blink, Epi is at the ready. There it is. Oh, there's the stomp. They don't even need to Epicenter. Like, we just saw what you were talking about. He could have killed her solo. Like, she might have leapt, but he just about could have run her down.
Yeah, I mean, either one of them was pretty close to killing. Definitely with an Epi, that would have been a solo kill. Centaur as well, pretty close to a solo kill too. Both of them, you've got to feel scared right now, especially if you're this AA. There's a Splink on Sand King and Centaur at this point.
Yep.
There's a Drums coming up on the Slark, so he's getting his farm. I'm curious to what he goes after that. Normal choice is going to be a Shadow Blade if you go this build, which is a good item, which is going to be very scary for Mirana. Actually, all of their heroes, except for Naga, who can just sleep out of it.
Yeah, Shadow Blade, good item, bit overrated though, in my opinion. Gotta make that. It's like in my contract. I have to make that joke every chance I get. Anytime someone says something's good, that's how I refer to it. Like that plays in my head. But at any rate, it's 4-0, and Orange is well in control of this game. I'm pretty sure they come into this. They won their first match, didn't they?
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
It seems like we caught that, but either way, don't know what their overall standing is. Do know that they want to win now, and they're well on the way to it. As we can see, the gold and the experience both heading heavily into their favor. Sierra might get caught here. Oh, he didn't get a chance to blink. They're going to have to lock him down perfectly. Big kill as Mineski finally makes it onto the board, and they do so with about as good a hero as they could have hoped to have killed there.
Yeah, that Quap was... She kind of wanted to die, to be honest. She waited for her bottle to come. She was sitting at that rune for a solid 20 seconds.
Yep.
Gave all the time in the world for Mineski to rotate. They do drop the first Shadow Shaman wards of the game, and the tier 1 goes down. And that's a big point of concern for them right now. Every time those wards are off cooldown, they're just going to lose tower after tower. And Mineski, with this Naga Siren pickup and how under-leveled this AA is, they're not going to be able to defend a single one of these tier 1 towers.
I got to admit, I'm a little surprised at how passively Orange is playing right now. It's just methodical, and not to say they're making a mistake, but as we can see, Winter well on his way to a Hood of Defiance. And I guess if you're this far ahead and you have this much control, there's no reason to try and rush it.
Oh, good leap.
Very good reaction.
Very fast reaction time.
And they are able to pull back. Did have some help with the Ancient Apparition. But yeah, for the most part, I think they're just waiting on items. Slark looping back around. He's almost level 10 now. And he'll have his drums done right this second. Looking to follow with the Lothars, as you said. Sand King going to spot out the Mirana. They give each other a wave as they go their separate ways and choose not to engage. Up at top, yeah, they're just giving Shadow Shaman farm priority.
Yeah, they're rotating the Slark around. Like, one cool thing you can do with Slark is the way his leap, his skill build is range. He actually maxed Dark Pact over leap. That's not entirely normal, but to go on to the leap, when you leap on a Mirana, that means she can't leap as well. So it's like the leap that counters the leap kind of thing.
Right.
So it's very, very strong against Mirana. It looks like we're going to find... Nope, he's not going to find the Sand King there. Blinks out. And Slark has decided he's just going full roam now, and he's just going to pressure any hero that's looking for farm. And I like this. It's fine. They already have the Quap, and they have a lot of aggressive heroes. If they can limit farm, and Centaur's going to find over here...
Yep, looks like he's got himself a kill. And Mirana's the one hero that has been having a decent game, and down she goes for 27 seconds. That's going to be a tier 1 dead in mid for sure. Probably, no, never mind. I thought they had someone down there. They've got all 5 now going on the tier 1 mid.
They could go for the tier 2 with the Roth Shadow Shaman wards, but they may not because their tier 1 will be pressured. Looks like Slark is going back down here. If he finds his AA will be toast. And Sand King's just hiding there. He's going to find the real Naga, but I don't think he can do much here.
Very patient there from the Slark.
On bottom lane, they will find the Darks here.
Yep. It was very patient on the Slark the way he did that. He basically waited till the angle was just right and the surge was about to expire before he pounced. Could have just gone for it. Did not YOLO it and played it correctly. So they get a kill there. It's now 6-1, and they take down the tier 1 mid as we saw. And, okay, captain seat time, man. What do you do? What are you telling your team if you're Mineski?
We lost, boys.
Really?
No. No, I wouldn't say that, but at this point it's just like we need to really focus on playing around Nog at this point. We're going to have to give up all of our tier 1s. We no longer have the availability to defend any of our tier 1 towers. The tier 2s may be hard to defend too. You go full split push mode. Do not, whenever you see a hero on the enemy team, you run and you go to where they are not, and you try to find farm elsewhere on the map and take trades.
Well, they take the tier 1 mid. Certainly going to be no trade in mid or top. Not a single tower down as of right now for Orange. And they are just completely crushing Mineski. I mean, it's like you said, there's only so much you can analyze. And I hate as a caster to get to that point where you're like, all right, so it's a tough game. Just a tough game. But they're down about 10K at 16 minutes in both categories. So that tells you just how out of control it is. More than 500 gold per minute lead generated in experience as well as gold over the first 16 minutes of this game. Tough stuff.
Indeed it is. I'm still curious if Slark's item build is going to be that Shadow Blade. It may or may not. At this point, it doesn't really matter. Some of these Slark players I noticed like going Blink Dagger. That has been trending as well. So for me, it's more of like, in this game, it doesn't matter what he goes, but I'm curious to see what Southeast Asian players, how they build their Slark.
The Queen of Pain did go book, as you thought she should, so good for Asira for listening to good buddy Fear. Roshan going to be dropping uncontested, I'm sure. I mean, even if they, it doesn't matter if there was a big sign that, like, seriously just drew on the minimap and said, Roshan, I hate that you can't write, like, when you're drawing on the minimap as a caster. Trying to draw a Roshan. Doesn't matter, they couldn't contest this even if they wanted to.
No.
So Orange taking a big one here. Let's see, how close? Yep, it's going to be book 2 for sure done for Asira. And she's actually going to take the Aegis too.
It's a good choice. Quap is a really good Aegis holder. Good mobility, so even if she does get caught out of position and loses Aegis, she does have her blink ability to reposition herself to fight again. And she's another one of those heroes that's really squishy, so if they do lock her down early on in the team fight, and she doesn't get her spells off, coming back and being able to use her burst is really important.
They're going to smoke and try to make something happen somewhere. They may just go ahead and smoke through the bottom lane if they don't run into anyone. Just start pushing there. In the meantime, Mineski's trying to do exactly what you said. Go where they ain't and push towers. And top, seeming like a good target for that. They're actually going to rotate down the mid. They might have a chance to catch someone. The Naga, if she dips into the jungle, she's dead for sure. Looks like they're actually got a good spread on. They're really scared up here from Mineski. They know everyone's missing, but as soon as they suspect what's going on here in mid, and yeah, they're going to know now. They should have no problem pushing down this tier 1.
The good news for them right now is Jay's on track for his Radiance.
Yeah.
So he's almost got, he does have Relic money right now, and he did go the drums first, so his timing right now is pretty good. So he's getting really farmed right now. But, so it's really up to Orange right now. They have a really mid-game centric lineup, so they have to take as many objectives as they can and push. The book will help a lot with that, so will the Shadow Shaman wards. And AO is just going to harass mid, and they might get a tier 1 top out of this. So it looks like they did take my advice, and Slark TPing on top lane. Might be able to kill the Wraith team, but probably just everyone's going to get out if they TP now.
Yep, looks like everyone's going to make it back to the house.
Oh, Dust is going to catch the Darkseer.
Never mind. And, yep, there's the epicenter. He's going to TP in his face. Sonic Wave there. Wasted a couple of ults, and the pounce a little late as well.
An arrow on the Shadow Shaman? No, he blinks out just fine. So, Mineski, so far doing a good job of splitting the map and making Orange just run after them without dying. He's going to get a tier 1 out of this, and the top lane on top is almost down too.
And Naga Siren, as you said, split pushing down the tier 1 there. Looks like the tier 2 might be denied. Nope, never mind. Orange is going to take it right in their face. Not worried about it as Slark lines up and gets the last.
This Naga with the Radiance is going to be an issue, though. If you look at Orange's lineup, they actually don't have that good a late game. They do have the Slark, who does scale well into late game, and he did answer my question as well. Naga's sleep is blown. Not going to catch anything. That is a level 2 sleep, so that's 120 seconds. That's going to be down. But Slark did save up 2,000 gold, and it looks like he's going straight into a point booster, so that's going to be a Scotty rush.
Yep. How do you feel about that? Scotty at this stage of the game?
I'd like to see a more aggressive pickoff item like the Blink Dagger, like the Scotty, or like the Shadow Blade, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But It's not bad either. I mean, if you can catch him, he's going to be very hard to kill, if not impossible, once he finishes that, because his HP pool is going to be very high. So he's going for more of like a true carry build more than a ganker, which I don't mind at all, considering they are lacking a lot of carry heroes on their team.
Mirana's picked up a Perseverance.
Yeah, she's going for the Lincoln Sphere. Usually you get the Ultimate Orb first, but
I just don't know what that gives them at this stage of the game. Like
just some spam, I guess, to farm faster, but he's just going to die instantly if he gets caught out. So he has to have perfect positioning for this to work out.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, is like you're playing from behind, and right now the item progression on Orange is so huge. Blink Dagger on Rasta. The pipe's going to be done in mere moments for the Centaur. Yeah, he's got the headdress. He needs 700 gold. And it looks like found a double damager in there for Jay, so at least
well, he went for a Blink Dagger on Slark, so he went Point Booster into Blink and has 1,000 gold. That was an interesting sequence of events when he picked those items up.
Yep. And now, Radiance is done, but so is the pipe. Those items literally come out on top of each other, so they've got something to mitigate that. Here comes the AA ulti. Now, this coming into place actually is a pretty big deal. It helps them slow down these pushes, or at least make them a little bit more risky for Orange, but looks like Orange just really doesn't care. They know how strong a position they're in, and they're going to continue to just clear towers. Only one outer tier tower remains standing. That'll be the bottom tier 1.
They're probably going to drop wards up here too and get a little bit of damage on this tower.
If I was going to say, you think they're in a position? Looks like they're happy with their pipe pick. Well, they know the AA ultimate was shot, so they've got a little bit of time. There's going to be one lockdown, and they're trying to pick off Jesse. Let's see if they can actually finish him off. Sonic Wave does go off. Pipe is there. And behind the fight, Wraith King's ulti is deployed. We'll see the Sand King drop without a whole lot. There's a little bit of a hand-handed fight, if we're totally honest. They will be able to finish off at least one AA ultimate. Well shot, and Winter's going to end up dying because of it. So, Orange overstepping their bounds, and really that was just sloppy on their part. And they're not done. Song catches out the Queen of Pain. They're going to have an ensnare.
The arrow's coming.
Well shot. Could not have done it better. Aegis popped. Here comes the Slark trying to re-engage, but he can't hang around too long. That might be enough to save Quap for one more death, but still. Well played by Mineski, and they extend this game a bit.
Yeah, Orange got a little too deep there. It was fine going in for that AA kill, finishing him off quickly, but they should have backed off right after and then went to the tower. The only good thing they had going from them there is they were able to get a lot of damage off on that tower with the Shadow Shaman wards, so I assume they're going to probably go again. They might wait for next Aegis and look for kills, and then their next priority is going to be finishing that tower off. But they will have Glyph up in about 40 seconds, which is kind of a big deal for Mineski for the next defense. And on top lane, will the AA ult hit him?
Oh, he's going to pounce right into it. What a shot.
Beautiful.
Well played. That's it. Seriously, it's the same thing as that Invoker shot. Just type in, well played. Get on with my life. Lincoln Sphere is getting close to done for Mirana now. And Mineski is slowly but surely beginning to cauterize the wound a little bit. I mean, they stopped the bleeding. They're at least leveling it off. I'm actually surprised they didn't upturn a bit. I thought after that win, it would have turned up a smidge. But right now, I guess the efficiency of Orange is just a little bit too strong for them to turn around that easily.
Indeed it is. So much weight is going to be on this Naga's shoulders. Like, at this point, he's the only one that's doing any damage right now. That Radiance really punished them in that last fight. So if AA can get a nice Ice Blast, and they can keep those illusions on top of all their heroes, they actually have the damage to kill them. This Radiance was a huge pickup for them. And this Naga's backup, she has Booted Travels now, so her timing's not too shabby, gotta say.
No, not at all. And yeah, this game looked like it was going to get out of hand, but hell, Naga's on top of overall CS. I mean, there was just a point where Orange looked like they were not going to be stopped. The laning phase was completely dominated by them in every single way. But now you can see that Mineski has crawled the Mirana and the Naga back up into the top 3. Behind that, it's a huge fall off, though. And that's where, like you said, all the weight is resting predominantly on the Naga. I'm still not sold on the Lincoln Sphere pick, man. Like, I feel like they really needed something else because they have to know they're going to be in for a fight. And Lincoln's much more of a defensive item.
Yeah, but there's not too many items Mirana could have got that would make a huge difference.
Yeah.
BKB's alright, but then they have no damage. It only allows her to sit there. Maelstrom is another item that is good. Makes her really squishy. I guess she's just afraid of the Blink initiation from the Sand King. Yep. And they're just going to go again with the pipe. So this is going to be the use of the Glyph. If they can get more out of this, if they can bring this tier 3 tower down, they're going to have a hard time defending.
Here we go. There's going to be a stomp. Now they're going to try to engage. Naga comes in with the song. Let's see if they can get the job done. Wall is down. They're going to have a ultimate as well. There's going to be the arrow as well, and the vacuum. That brings one down. Let's see if they can reinitiate. Big Epicenter does good damage with the Sonic Wave as well. Stomp catches 2 targets as they try to retreat, but once again, buybacks employed. As Slark buys back, as does the Naga Siren. They're going to try to pursue down Winter, but the rest of the team has hooked back up. The wards did kind of their job, but that tower is still standing, actually. The glyph used right off the bat, and then they were cleared out.
Yeah, they did that almost perfectly. Centaur jumped in with the War Stomp, and right after Sleep was used, they cleaned up the Shadow Shaman wards. And then after that, followed up with an arrow right on top of the Slark, and they were able to win the fight. So we were wondering if Naga could actually carry the weight, and she's doing a wonderful job in doing so.
I'll tell you what, that time, that's probably the best Mineski's looked all game, because they put it all together. They had the song, they had the counter initiation, the A ultimate was good. Speaking of, this is its targeted top. But as much as anything, you know, the arrow shot was absolutely perfect. They were able to lock down their primary targets and clear it out without a whole lot of muss or fuss. And now Roche is back up. That's likely to be our next point of contention. And yeah, they actually have turned the gold graph back upwards and are moving in a generally positive direction, just still a lot of ground to make up. They're smoked now, going through their own jungle, and we'll see if they're going to give the old end around and find a target.
And, yeah, they're just going to chill there for now. There's not too much they can do. They do have Reincarnation up, which is a big plus for them. And they do have the combo. If they can manage to keep getting these vacuum walls off, and something that's really underrated as well that we saw earlier in the qualifiers as well is actually vacuuming a team into Skeleton King's Reincarnation. It's actually quite powerful. That slow is ridiculous, and if you can get them all in there on top of a wall, it slows attack speed too. So if they can get that combo off, that's something that they could use to win the team fights, and they can actually take this team fight right here. They're going to pop Moran ult and go in. They lost the Necro books, so they do have 1 sentry down. Looks like they're going to back up for now.
Yeah, they've got Roche down to about half. Rasta actually didn't use his wards, but the vacuum wall combination, as you said, huge part of their game plan, trying to time that up with the Naga Siren Sleep. And looks like Centaur actually denies the tower behind that. They're trying to engage. There's going to be the Naga Sleep, as she was caught.
We have another arrow. Where's our Moran at? It's going.
Looks like they want to retreat. This is tough for them, though. There's the pounce. The vacuum onto the wall missed. And behind that, they're going to engage anyway. Isira coming out down with the wards, and we're going to see the Wraith King biting it. They got Rasta, but they're going to end up losing the Wraith King immediately afterwards as the rest of the team had to retreat. So now Orange should have no problem finishing off this Roshan.
That's a huge fight for Mineski. Not only do they get the Naga, which is the hero that cannot die in this matchup, they get the Wraith King ultimate and the Wraith King after that.
Yep.
So next time after this Aegis, I think they're just going to run up to this top lane and take this fight. And with no Wraith King ultimates, they can just focus them down without any repercussions.
Yep. Wraith King just level 9, so the cooldown on his ultimate is still extremely long. BKB is going to be done on Isira as well. He only needs about another 275 gold, and he'll have it up. Of course, they already have their pipe. And yeah, this is looking very, very tough for Mineski. And I got to admit, I was impressed with the way they were managing to turn this game around a bit. But
yeah, me too.
That's kind of the problem, though. You give up that big of a lead early on, you just have no room to ever, ever fall behind again, any worse than you are. And that might be the straw that broke the camel's back there.
Yeah, I think for us in particular, we don't cast Mineski very much,
right.
So how poorly they were playing early game, we probably just assumed that, all right, these teams are on a totally different level. But maybe they were just having a freakishly bad early game and finally got their shit together.
Yep. And honestly, I think that's where we both were with it. I mean, it's like you watch and we're going to play it out, but it really was so bad that there was nothing to talk about. It's like they need to not die as much. Like, that's seriously about the extent of the analysis we could give. Don't die, get your farm, and buy your items. You know, play Dota. And we're actually going to see a Hex there. AA Ultimate does connect on the Sharky. And actually got the Sand King as well. So no one there to follow it up, unfortunately for them. That would have been a nice pack of kills for them. But yeah, they definitely have been looking much, much better over the last few minutes.
And apparently in the new patch, they added Agnum Scepter to Slark.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember what it does.
It doesn't do anything. It was actually just a joke. He just has like the sampler build here.
The sampler build? All right. I was going to say, I can't remember. I could not remember. It's like, whenever I hear
successfully trolled.
Yeah, I hear a pro say that, it's like, yep, he's probably going to be right and I'm going to be wrong. Don't remember what it does, though. But
no, his item build is the sampler. He had a really strange build for me. He saved to like 3k, then went like point booster, and then into a blink dagger, then had 1,000 gold left over. But it looks like they're going to go ahead and finally go for this tier 3. They're popping asleep, Who did they ping on there? Who do they want to hit this arrow on?
There's the vacuum. Oh, the arrow is off the mark. There's a good wall. AA Ultimate's going to be there as well, but they're able to avoid it. Sonic Wave comes out along with the reinitiation. Jesse's going to end up dying in the midst of all this, as will the Marana. And behind that, Epicenter helps them clean up the last little vestiges of Mineski's hope to claw their way back in. I don't know that she has buyback. If she does, she'll need it. Nope. No buyback for the Naga Siren. No buyback on anyone, actually, on that side of the team. And
great creep pulling, though, on Naga, though.
Yep.
Wasting their time, making it going to be very hard to push into the space. They did get the tower, though, so they can hit the tower a little bit. But basically what happened there is they used the sleep. The arrow wasn't meant for the Slark. That arrow was meant for Quap, but they didn't know when they shot it, that was an illusion they hit.
Oh, wow.
So they kind of got a mind game a little bit there, so good illusion usage as well, putting out in the front, knowing that they wanted to go on the Quap there.
And Slark looking to clean up the creeps. Yeah, they're just going to abandon this. So at the very least, like you said, Naga, with the good creep cutting, buying them a little bit more time and maybe one more fight than you would think they would have in them. And but yeah, Slark still has his Aegis, and they're going to have no problem just resetting and going again. He's actually got 2,600 gold on top of everything else. So his Scotty or BKB or Scepter or whatever the hell else he's building at the moment should be on the way at some point.
This is a casual point booster, apparently. Not sure if I would recommend that on most Slarks, but that's the one thing that bugs me about a lot of players in Dota is when I can tell a player is playing a hero and they don't know what they want. That should never happen in a pro game for me. I think when you play a hero enough and you want to play at the top of your game or the top level, you have to know exactly what you want to build already before you go into the match. You can't go into the game going, I want this item, maybe it's good for this item, and end up with a sampler build.
Yep.
So that's just one thing that I feel like is a lot of teams are doing right now, and just play those heroes in pubs, man. If you're going to pick it in a competitive game, you got to know what you're going to build with it. I'm not a big fan of the samplers.
You call them samplers, I call them the yard sale builds. It just looks like, just a whole lot of stuff. Just a lot of stuff, just hanging out, not doing a whole lot else. Now we're going to have the wards go down, and the vacuum goes down as well with the wall. And let's see if they can reinitiate. BKBs are there, though. Wraith King immediately drops. He'll be back up off his ulti. That was a little weird, honestly. The wards were down and doing good damage that entire time. Now the big reinitiation from Winter as he secures a double kill for Isira with the big stomp. And they're not going to be able to do anything else. Buyback on the Wraith King, but he's coming back with Sand's ult, and the Darkseer buys back as well.
They have a rebuy on Naga as well, so if they want, they can defend this, but all of their economy is pretty much destroyed off that push.
Yep. Getting down in the range of 20k now. And Orange is actually playing this remarkably patiently. Just pulling back, going to reset, and look to do it again sometime soon.
Yeah, they'll just wait until they have... Basically, the only cooldown they're really waiting for is just pretty much Shadow Shaman wards. Every time that's up, I feel like they're just going to be taking Jad base.
33 minutes in. We've got 26 kills on the board. Thanks for tuning in. If you are just for the first time tuning in, I'm your host, Aaron A.C. Chambers, joined by Fear as my co-caster. Been a long day, but been a good day casting with you, brother.
It has been indeed.
Looking forward to doing more with you tomorrow, as we'll be bringing you at 4 p.m. And this is something that is always going to be asked, I'm sure, leading up to the match. The Game 5 of the American Qualifier was rescheduled due to server outages. That'll be played at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2200 for our Central European brothers and sisters. So make sure you tune in to catch Fear and I then. And, of course, we'll be bringing you after that more coverage here of the SEA qualifiers. Looks like Orange, though, looking to perhaps close this one out, like you said. Ross the wards, pretty much what they wait on. There it is, level 1, or excuse me, 1 second, and then 0, ready to roll.
Ross the wards are up, book is out, and this is the Rax attempt. There is no ult up on top of this Wraith King, though. So he cannot go into the front lines even if he wanted to. This book will make it very hard for him.
Books out, boys.
And indeed they are. Wards down, boys, as well.
Here we are. All right, here we go. Let's see if they can do it again. They've been using this magic for quite some time to keep themselves in the game. They're so smart clearing out these wards. They got to go quick, though. There's the arrow off the mark, and it does actually connect behind, but now the pounce is actually missed. They're going to try to chase them down. Very bizarre initiation on both sides. As we see, the Slark does double back around, however. The Racks are going to be dying in the meantime. Now Mineski looking to collapse. They ended up losing their ranged racks, or their melee racks rather. Yeah, the ranged rack's still standing. So he lost the melee racks there, and I don't know what was going on. That was kind of strange. It's like they thought they could kill the wards off faster than they could.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like, when the wards go down, they might as well sleep, try to kill off all the wards, then hit their combo.
Right.
It's a lot to do at once, but if you can do it successfully, I think that is the best way to play it out.
Last rack's going to go down. Naga doing what she can to lock down the Slark, but that's not a whole hell of a lot. Slark kind of tough to corral like that.
And they're just going to Centaur out.
Stampede.
Oh, that was a great A ult. If they can get the Naga illusions on him, it actually missed. It was just short.
And yeah, trying to watch everywhere at once. He's going to pounce up to the high ground. As there was actually an arrow that was shot after the Centaur. And the Slark's actually fairly low, but they're going to give up the pursuit. In the meantime, Asira has made his way back down. 4,800 gold for our Queen of Pain. What's she going to build?
4,800 and those items. I mean, she can go whatever she wants. I think a Shiva's might not be bad here. If she jumps in with the Shiva's, her ult, and on top of a Scream of Pain, it's going to kill every single Naga illusion, and most likely every single hero on Mineski as well, considering they're all pretty under-farmed at this point, minus the Naga. Wraith King only has treads to his name. Mirana is actually doing pretty good on farm. She does have her BKB up, 1,000 gold up with the Lincoln Sphere. She's on full defensive mode. She needs to get up a lot more items right now. I guess she needs to pick up her Mjolnir as soon as she possibly can at this point, because she hits... Yeah, she hardly hits at all. She has like 164 damage, 165 damage. Pure defensive mode right now, and they need damage. They're lacking damage. They can't kill anything right now. So I can't say, like you said before about the defensive build, about the Lincoln Sphere.
Yeah.
I mean, going into BKB surely doesn't help with her damage either.
Yeah. Like, the Lincoln Sphere was questionable. BKB, without a doubt, overkill.
Indeed.
Or underkill, as the case might be. Speaking of Mjolnir, by the way, that's going to be the Queen of Pain pickup. She flat out bought pretty much all of it. Yeah, she got the recipe waiting back at the house. So that'll be up on her. Nice amount of right-click just to add to the sustained damage that they need to finish this game up. But, yeah, wow. They actually dropped the Rost Awards. I don't feel like they needed that. I guess just want to play it safe since it is a Cheese Roshan.
It is, yeah, you're right. It is the Cheese Roshan here, so they're going to be able to have a Cheese's fight and an Aegis. Cheese can be useless against AA. If you pop Cheese with AA's ult on you, it does absolutely nothing, so they have to be a little careful when doing that. But other than that, they're in a great spot right here. All they have to do is just keep going down another lane, drop the wards, and Mineski is going to keep doing the same thing. Whenever the wards go down, pop the sleep. So maybe this time around, the Shadow Shaman, just save your wards for as long as you possibly can.
Right.
Just don't drop them down instantly. They have a plan against it. If you don't need to drop down the wards, don't use it. And it looks like down over here,
could be problematic. Here comes the Asira, has Sonic Wave at the ready.
Not quite enough damage.
Thought for sure he was going to rush up there. Using the Mjolnir's lightning shield to protect the Slark. Didn't want him feeding the Aegis there. But yeah, I think you're on the money as always. The just bait out the sleep. Like
bottom lane looks like they're going in. He does have a BKB, can TP. They have no way of canceling that. So that was his 10-second BKB charge, I believe. So
win in and of its own right.
Yeah, they would have won the kill there, of course, but bringing down that BKB when you have a lineup like Oranges that's so magic dependent is always going to be a win.
And they're continuing to just choke this map out. But yeah, like, coming back around to that, just doing something to bait out the wards. I mean, Naga Sleep's basically the only thing Mineski has going for them in terms of actually being able to hope to take a fight. And if you just rush up with Pipe and these items that you've now built and the mass amount of damage you have, especially with Quap now hitting so much harder with the right click, not hitting immensely hard, it's just 178, but still hitting very quickly. They're going to have to do something to you. And if you can bait out the Naga Sleep and then drop your wards afterwards, going to be quite good. They actually just shot an ALT at Asira. I didn't see even how he got that low. If that had been there, he would have been dead for sure.
Yeah, it was just, he was fighting Naga illusions and just ended up getting low. And ended up having to go back, trying to go for the snipe, but good map awareness from Asira and not getting caught out by the AOLs.
Scotty done on Slark. The items have been slowly but surely coming out from Naga. She's got about 3K tucked away. What are you thinking here as a damage item? She's got Manta up to go with it. Is it tank up time, or is it maybe get a defusal time?
I think she needs to tank up, because right now they have so much AoE damage that are based off spells alone, not right clicks. If you can get that hard up on the Naga Siren, the Lucians can survive throughout the spam of just the AoE abilities, and that's going to be very important if she wants to do any damage in these team fights.
Looks like they're beginning to threaten to push bottom once again. This tower's in great shape, barely been touched. And they're waiting on the creep wave now. Naga has her illusions up. We'll go ahead and send them out. Necro creeps are out. And just going to send one out to do what burn they can. Pipe used. Here come the rest of them. Just burning away at that pipe damage mitigation. And the last one now coming forward. Let's see if Mineski's got another one in. Not going to bait it out with the ward. Just put him down immediately. They're going to go right to work.
Down they go again immediately.
They're staying out of range here, and poor Slark left behind by himself. Now they're going to try to reinitiate off of this. Now the damage is going to come into play. Sonic Wave does connect. There's a very nice stun, catching Jesse as well as would have caught the Mirana, but BKB's obviously making that. No, pounce now onto Jesse Bosch. Defusal, the last-minute choice for that Naga, most likely a desperation defusal. And a triple kill picked up by Asira with that Mjolnir, with the right click, and of course with the mass amount of damage output. And Orange, wow, they're actually going to back. I'm a little surprised.
Well, they're just going to go back in region. Oh, Centaur actually goes all the way, and he has a heart on him.
Yeah, I don't know, like, this is what I was thinking. They can blow her up. He still had Epicenter. And he's going to end up dying here, but that's going to, oh, never mind. That Lincoln's pays for itself, at least in that occasion. But Centaur, tanky as he is, this face tank in the tower, there's going to be a Hellfire Blast disjointed as he blinks away.
Very important disjoint, because he had the heart region still running on him.
A ultimate. Ooh, that's going to barely miss a zero. He thought about blinking there. It was actually a really good reaction. He just about blinked away, realizing he was outside of the AoE. Pipe up again, creeps up again, and here comes Sharky setting up the kill on Alwa. If he can finish it off, does he have? Nope, doesn't have his ulti. And Aegis will be popped in the process, but not going to matter much. Centaur now running roughshod and chasing them back to the well. This will be the second set of racks down, and I would imagine GG should be shortly on the way.
Yeah, I mean, they're just way too farmed right now. Centaur can just run in there with this heart pipe. They can't kill him. He has a plate mill on top of that, too. And there's nothing they can do right now. I mean, this is just going to be mega creeps, and they're just going to... I don't know why they're not calling GG at this point. There's actually nothing they can do.
Gotta fight it out, bro. Don't give up till the end. Let's see if he can catch him. Pounce on it for 5 seconds. It's going to be a Hex. And he thought about it. Thought about diving into the well. In the meantime, the rest of the racks are being cleaned up behind this.
Well, at least they're going to get a victory Shadow Shaman kill. I wouldn't call it victory.
little late.
Minor victory.
Oh, BKB by Slark as he leaps away. A ultimate was there, but they're going to try to turn it around. And Mirana could be in some trouble. Sand King coming back up. Doesn't have his Epicenter up quite yet. And I guess they're going to take one desperation run down mid if they can try to chase this down. Not that it's going to matter. Mass Force Staffs helping get everyone to safety. Good Burrow Strike. He's got a little bit of health left. It's going to be burned down by Naga Illusions, though. So he drops. Winter's next on the list, and now they just got to make a dead run down mid and hope for a miracle. They try to pull back. I don't think they're going to have a chance.
They actually don't even have the heroes to deal with mega creeps. Like, Naga isn't the greatest hero to deal with mega creeps right now, so if anything, this is for the pride of... I don't even know. Mineski's pride is on the line here. Just trying to get a few kills.
Yep. They chased this Slark and used everything they had to try to catch him, and he just about doubled back into what would have been an AA ult and a Sacred Arrow. As it stands, Orange has Mega Creeps running down all lanes. There's one Tier 4 left, and it's 25,000 in favor of Orange. So, yeah, I think we're safe in saying if you put rares on Orange, you're happy right now.
Yeah, indeed you are. And Queen of Pain, why not? Just buy Change in Yasha.
Yeah,
best item.
Best item. Best item 2014.
That pretty much summarizes this game in a nutshell.
Basher up on Slark. It really doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. It's been a long. I don't know that I've seen a game be this over and not actually over.
Well, what about that game earlier today against
that was a brutal one.
Liquid and Gnar?
Yeah, that was brutal.
That was another game that's like over, but
not.
It's like some points like, why are you even playing at this point?
Like,
not to be rude, it's just like these players know they can't win this game.
Right.
Like, there's no way they're thinking they can win this game. Maybe they're just talking over for the next game.
Yep.
That is probably just like, okay, when we get into our next game, I'm not sure who they're playing next. They're just going over what they need to change.
Oh, but like there has to be a level, like especially in a tournament format like this. This is early. When you want to be saving your energy.
Yeah, and I would want to do it as well. I think they should be tapping out. There's no way they can defend against this. But I think the big problem Mineski had this game was they made a lane rotation that they didn't need to make.
Winter caught with an arrow.
They hurt him, and he's just going to get poked and probably do more damage to Rana than she's actually going to take.
Yep, and here comes the Cavalry. A Ultimate's going to be shot. And let's see what could be the last fight of the game. Sonic Wave on the mark from Asira. He's played excellently. Epicenter there as well. And now Jesse Van being one-on-one by the Shadow Shaman. There's Shackles. Hey, kill. Come right-click as a support. There it is. GG. Finally called, so Mineski held on as long as they could. And took him 45 minutes, and like you know, if nothing else, you know, and it's not that we're certainly not insulting these players. If anything, Mineski made more of a game of this than I thought they ever had a chance to.
Yeah, for them, the main problem that they had, and the only problem I feel like they really ran into as a team, was they need to figure out what they want to accomplish in the early game. I felt like it was like Darkseers were like, okay, I can't get anything bottom, and they overreacted to that.
Right.
Like, they should have just been like, okay, Darkseer, you actually have to be on your own right now. We have a good thing going for us on this top lane. They rotated heroes down to that bottom lane, and they only just like put themselves in a position that the Darkseer was in.
Right.
So they ended up having 3 heroes that ended up being fairly useless for the early stages of the game instead of just 1.
Alrighty, guys, it's been a fun past 24 hours. Fear and I have actually been at it for, I don't know, 8 of the last 12 hours, give or take, something like that.
It's something ridiculous.
Hope you guys have had as much fun as we have. This is going to be our last broadcast of the night, but there's going to be action going on all of the Beyond the Summit streams. I'm not sure if we're going home. Like, just the way the schedules work out, we have to cast tomorrow at 4 p.m. when everyone else starts at 9, and then we have to cast in too. So we might end up heading back to our hotel rooms, but we also might be on the lounge. We'll have to wait and see. But I do know this, for the next, I don't know, 6 hours or so, something like that. Maybe not quite that long. For the next few hours, there's going to be action on all of the Beyond the Summit streams here on the North American Hub coverage of TI4, presented by Monster Energy. Make sure you tune in and keep up with the schedule. Go to the TI4Qualifiers.com for the full schedule there. And again, that's presented by Monster Energy. And catch Beyond the Summit, the main studio stream, Beyond the Summit 2. That's, of course, right here in the penthouse. And Beyond the Summit 3. That is down in the lounge stream. Everyone just kind of kicking it, I'm sure. And then, of course, the High Ground TV guys that are handling our 4th stream here at the North American Hub. Before we say goodnight, any thoughts on the games or just thoughts in general, my friend?
No, not really. I think I burnt out that game. Like, everything that had to be said was said, and as far as me, I'm probably going to stick around for a little while and just watch as much C Dota as I possibly can.
That's kind of where I am too.
Just because I want to know, like, how these teams play going in tomorrow, because I don't watch enough C Dota, and now it's the perfect opportunity.
Well, hope you guys will take a page out of Fear's notebook and hang around and watch all of the streams. Just go ahead and multi-twitch. Open them all up. We appreciate it, I promise. We'll be back again, just as a reminder. The North American Qualifiers will conclude tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that'll be 2200 for Europeans. Make sure you tune in for that. Fear and I will be casting that. And, yeah, follow us both on Twitter while you're at it. I'm at AC, at AYESEE. He's at Fear Dota. Once again, thanks for being a part of the show. We'll be back with our next set of matches, our next set of casters. See who's going to be up here. It's actually going to be Suns Fan and Synderen, and their first match will be Myth Trust taking on Orange. See you soon, guys.